As we continue our OPS Family Focus video series today, I have with me two very special people that I would like our world to understand who they are and why they're here. Today we are joined by the Kellys, and the Kellys are going to tell their story in our Class of 1955 archive room. And we are in this room, I think, today for a specific purpose because the Kellys definitely have some history here. And we are in the room here in our central office that shows all of our rich tradition and history. So, first of all, thank you all for being here this morning with me. But let me just kick it off and get started and have you all introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about how you landed in Owensboro, why you are still here in Owensboro, just Owensboro as a city itself.
I'll let you.
Okay. Dante Kelly, and I was born and raised here. Went to Owensboro City Schools all my life. Graduated in 1983. Shortly after graduating, I left to join the Army and was in the Army for 11 years, 2 months, 27 days.
Thank you for your service.
Yes, thank you. And I met this young lady at my last duty station, and we've been married since 1990. And in 95, we moved back to Owensboro. I wanted to move back to a city where you didn't have to lock your doors, and Friday nights was fun, and things were safe for kids to be brought up.
Awesome.
I'm Maria Kelly. I'm not originally from Owensboro. I am a military brat, so I kind of lived everywhere, and this is one place that I've lived the longest in my life, and I'm thankful. We've had kids in the system forever, and we've enjoyed every single moment of it. I couldn't ask for a better family to help us raise our family, is how I look at it, because it takes a village, and we've had a village around us.
Speaking of that village, can you tell everyone about your family village that you've had and the history of your family moving through our system?
We have 8 children. When I met Dante, he had 3 children already, and we have 5 together. So we have 6 boys and 2 girls, and our last 2 are twins, and they're graduating this year. And we started back in, what did you say?
95.
But we moved here, February 14th at 9 a.m., February 14th, on a Tuesday, 1995. Not that I remember when we were moving here, but my family's mostly from Boston, and we had visited Owensboro, and I always thought it was beautiful, and I thought the school, the high school itself, was just amazing, and I wanted for my children what I really didn't have, moving every couple years for my whole, my parents' career in the military. So I thought it was really beautiful that we were going to have a tradition where he graduated and all of our children will graduate. So we've had 6 come through already. What were the years?
That they graduated?
Yeah.
Nice.
I don't know.
I think 2003. The kids range from ages 30, if they're 39, 37, 36, 28, 22, 21, and 17, the twins are.
I think Josh is 23.
There you go.
There we
Corrected
go.
already. See? There we go. I was close. And so we started in 1995 at Cravens Elementary. And in fact, we stuck with Cravens all the way through with all of them.
Yes.
Yeah.
Dana Stanley was with us the whole time. Kurt Gaddis. I mean, we've had so many amazing teachers in our lives. And it's, I couldn't thank them enough. We didn't have to worry. Renee Fulkerson, we had a son that, came from Hager and with Sherry Baber. And, we were nervous. And Renee Fulkerson came right in with Ashley Buster. And they just rallied around him, and Miss Mordock. I mean, there's so many teachers. Yes. I guess Chris was the principal at Cravens back then, and then I don't know. It's just been a blessing. It's been a blessing. We we haven't had, I mean, we've had kids that have done things, you know, and Miss Burnett was right there on it, you know. I mean, it's been an amazing ride. It's crazy to believe that it's almost over.
Yes.
Yes.
But we're glad. We've been to enough
Yes.
games and
Yes.
parent-teacher conferences.
Well, we certainly appreciate your family over the years. They have been a blessing to us as well. And it'll be a bittersweet moment when your twins walk across that stage this year.
I think it will. But we still have ties. You know, we have a
Absolutely.
son that works in the school system, and he coaches, and we have another son that writes stories about the schools. So, you know, and all of our kids are here now. So, and they're proud to be Red Devils. That's all they know, and I'm glad.
Yes, me too. So we have embarked in the Owensboro Public Schools on a 5-year sort of mission. We want to define some things that we want to get better at. And so I'd like to talk with you all just about a few of those things that we've noted. We've gotten a lot of input to get to this point, but in the next 5 years, we want to intensely work on these things. So one of the things that we have targeted for students, we want to challenge them to become the best version of themselves, prepared to be a positive force in this world. Can you speak to how OPS has done that for your kids and what suggestions you might have for us to get that better?
Oh, wow. Well, first off, I think OPS has done an amazing job of fitting the child. There are so many areas and so many strengths in the Owensboro school system. I had kids that play sports. I had kids that wanted to do drama. I've had kids that wanted to do music. I've had kids that want to do art. Whatever they wanted to do, it was here for them. And not just as a side note, it was top notch. It was first class, and they always felt empowered when they did things. Carolyn Greer and what she does with the drama team and Mr. Wiggins, Miss Wiggins, and what they do with music and chorus and then the football coaches that we've had. I mean, it's. I'm not going to be able to say anything negative because I don't. They're so involved, and they empower the kid to be that kid. What do you want to do? How do you want to do it? And we'll give you the platform. And so I don't. It's just amazing to me how well they do things here.
There's a difference from being a teacher and wanting to be a teacher. And I have always felt like who we've been surrounded by wanted to be there, wanted to make a difference in a child, wanted to know more about them, wanted to know what makes them tick. Because every child learns different. And that's why we never had to worry about any of our kids, because when you have 8 kids, none of them are the same. Even the twins are complete opposites. And Micah gets to do writing about comic books, and he's in this whole group with these kids where Maya is at academics, and it's all happening in the same building, and everybody's accepted. And I remember when our son Orlando, you guys had a partnership with Wendell Foster, and he was so excited because he had a buddy from freshman year to senior year that was in a wheelchair, and they got to, do things. And just knowing that we're all the same and we all bring something to the plate and every child matters. I could never say anything.
Yeah. One of the things I always cling to when I talk about Owensboro school system is one of our children was diagnosed with Asperger's very early on. And when it came time for him to go to preschool, we were extremely worried. Because he spoke a language we understood, but we didn't think anybody else. And as a mom, I'm sure she was nervous about passing him off to somebody. Sure. And I remember us taking him to Hager Preschool, and they said they wanted to do an evaluation on him. And we sat and talked with Sherry Baber for like 2 hours while
Helen Meister
took our son in the room, and they worked with him. And they told us to come back the next day. And the next day we came back and we sat, and not knowing what we were going to hear, but They gave us the write-up, the report they'd written up, and I'm reading this report, and it was as if I was looking at an 8x10 portrait of my kid. And to see somebody spend 2 hours with them and to have him down pat, it made you tear up because you knew you were okay.
Sure.
You knew you had passed him off to somebody. And then after doing 2 years at Hager, when it came time for him to go to Cravens, they went with us. We had a parent-teacher conference with staff from Hager and staff from Cravens, and we sat in a room, and actually we were kind of like fans in the stands because they did all the talking, and they explained, and we couldn't change anything they said. We wouldn't have altered anything. They described him so well that we knew we were in the right place.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
And he went on to go to Louisville, University of Louisville. I mean, we never told him that he had Asperger's because as a group with our doctors and all of the teachers, we thought that if he knew, then it might become a crutch. So we kept him in mainstream mostly, and he was assisted and then assisted. I mean, it was just amazing to watch him grow.
That's
and
amazing.
become and he played football.
Yes. Well, okay. It speaks since you brought that up. At Hager Preschool, they had a Christmas play. He got up. She had to miss it that day. He got up there, and all the family, all the parents come in, and when they stood up to sing, he lost it. I mean, lost it. And I was in the back, and I couldn't get to him, and I'm back in the back, and I'm crying too. And the assistant, Miss Kristen's assistant,
Christian Tutt.
yes.
Yes.
she
her
held him.
assistant.
She held him and sung while he was just crying. Well, fast forward to his senior year, and he does a solo at
The River Park.
at the River Park Center. You know, the same kid that was crying that couldn't take it
Wow.
does a solo because that's what they took him from this to that.
And the confidence he has. And when he found out he had Asperger's, it was only because we had meetings and I had left some papers because there was no reason to tell him.
Right.
And he just learned a little different and we all learn different.
Of course we
And when he found out, he was like, well, that's why no one laughs at my jokes.
Oh, that's such a good story. Thank you for sharing that. So, as you're talking, I'm also looking at another one of the things that we want families to help us with in these next 5 years, and we use the word partner in this. So we want to partner with families. We need this to be an active give and take with our families. And I think over the years, even though you've got 8 kids, you have given a lot back to us. I see you all as being very active parents. So please speak to our parents about the importance of that in terms of making great kids.
It's important. It's important to know who your children spend their day with. It's important for them to know that you're working with them, not against them. And because we always told our kids, we're going to side with the teacher first, because anybody that wants to go away, for school and then come back to help you get your education, they deserve to be backed up. So we've always listened, and we've always supported anything. We had one child that had back when cell phones were not just everyday acceptance, and it came, it appeared on his desk when it wasn't supposed to. So the teacher wanted to take it away, and he did. And he called and he spoke to Dante, and he said, I just want to let you know you can pick up his phone whenever you want. And Cameron goes, Dante said, no, he broke your rule. You keep it. It's a privilege to have a phone. We support you. You keep it however long you need to. And I think that, when we had to drop off kids, there was a teacher's assistant, Patsy Leak, that I would love to see her, and I tell her all the time, if she could walk through the high school halls, if we could have those mentors like her, because she knows all their parents, and they love and respect her discipline. And having that relationship where watching our children now that are older become friends with their teachers that they had, but they still respect them and say, Miss Stanley, or, Miss Burnett, even though the teachers tell them, you can call me by my first name now. It's so important to build that village. And you guys do an amazing job. Why shouldn't we support you? It's hard enough. You know, you have so many other things against you. Why should a parent be one of the big obstacles? We should naturally want to, you know, you're wanting to bless our kids. Why, you know, I think it's important.
Yeah, and I can only second it. It never fails. If you, and I tell the kids right up front, I'm backing the teacher. I'm always going to side with the teacher. If they said you did it, you did it. If they said you were in class talking because you were sitting next to what, then you better move away from what's the name, because I'm always going to side with the teacher. And that created a second parent, because they knew we wasn't going to get by. They had our email address. They had our phone numbers. We would call the school, any school they went to. We could call the school and never even have to tell our names. They knew us that well, and so when we had that relationship with the teachers, our kids had to sit up straight. Yeah. They knew
and they're not perfect. You know, they made mistakes, but the one thing they knew was that they respected their teachers, their parents, as, you know, an adult figure. You know, anyone. It wasn't just the teachers, the janitor, anybody. Right. You know, you were respecting the adult, and that's something that, you know, isn't really enforced that much anymore. And it's unfortunate that a teacher should have to come to school and, you know, on top of all that they have that they need to do, worry about a child bucking against them and not being backed up by the parent.
I thank you for that, and you sound like my parents back in the day.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, we're old school.
No, it's great. A last question for you, and you've pretty much weaved this in throughout our talk, but wanted to give you a chance just in case. I do some sessions with a lot of different people, and the last question that I always ask to try to end positively and to make people feel good is there any particular person or people that you would like to shout out for doing a great job with your kids? And as I said, you've mentioned a lot through the interview, but just if you want to take any more time for that.
Well, our daughter told Dana Stanley that she couldn't retire until after she did her walk. Our daughter did her
senior
walk. Senior walk at Cravens. Of course, like I say, Sherry Baber, John DeLacy, who we've known forever.
Well, Ms. Johnson, there's so many. What I thought was amazing was when we were going to Cravens, there are so many teachers that have become principals and or leaders throughout the school, and you know, district. I mean, Mr. I can't think of his name at Estes.
Mr. Williams.
Mr. Williams. You know, all of them. They were the core people at Cravens, and they have gone on and just spread, and it's contagious. We couldn't name all of the teachers. No. We really couldn't.
We'd forget somebody. We
would forget somebody, and I would feel horrible at that because they're all deserving.
Yes,
they're all deserving. I mean, I remember. I don't even know his name, but he was one of the guys that would clean up after the football fields. Mm-hmm. And he was so proud, and you know, and it takes everybody. You know, it's and you guys do a great job coming together, empowering each other to get the job done. David Walker, how could we forget? I mean, he doesn't even.
A lot of these people become our friends.
Yeah,
of course.
They're not, they're not just our kids' teachers. They're our friends. And what I love, and I keep going back to Dana Stanley, but. So many teachers like Dana that once you are an Owensboro kid, you are their kid forever. Yes. It's not like you get to go on somewhere else, and you are an Owensboro kid, and you belong to this family, and no matter where you go, they will follow you. I'm in Desert Storm. I'm in Desert Storm, and I get mail. The war's about to start, and I get mail from Linda Ford, who was my typing teacher back in the 80s. I took typing 1. I loved her so much I took typing 2. We used to do this thing when I would walk into her class. This is back when See, we're really dating ourselves. This is back when you had the phone number where you would call and get the time and the weather. Well, I would come in class and I would touch the glass and I would guess the temperature outside. I'd say, oh, it's about 72. And then she would walk up and she'd do it. She'd go, no, I think it's about 74. This happened every single class. The whole class waited for us to do this thing. And then we would call and hear what the temperature was, so we got the closest. I'm in Desert Storm. The war's about to kick off. She writes me. She says, I saw that you were over there. I just want you to know I'm praying for you, and we love you, and we want you to be safe and take care. And because you're over there, I feel like it's only necessary that I tell you this. Every time before class, I would go and call to find out the temperature before you came out. That's Owensboro High School. That's the family.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I can't think of a more perfect ending to this interview, but
And I know we've left somebody off.
well,
Oh, yeah.
I know that you're going to feel badly about that, so let's just say shout out every person
Everybody.
that has had.
If you've ever
any
dealt with the
contact.
Kelly kid,
Yes.
That's right.
And it's so funny because it's like, oh, the Kelly compound.
Yes.
And we've had so many teachers that are like, oh, if you've got a Kelly kid, you're fine.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in touch with one that lives in D.C. now. And, well, she actually just moved to South Carolina. And she wrote Maya because she had Maya in second grade.
Oh,
I mean, you guys are just amazing.
Yeah.
And we have great schools in our city.
We do.
We are fortunate that any school in our city could be, exactly what we're describing. But for us, what we've known and what we've seen and what we've lived through and what we're proud of is where our kids are at Owensboro.
well, thank you to the Kelly compound. And we are so blessed with your presence and all of your children throughout. And your presence to us as parents has really made a big difference. So thank you so much.
thank you.
Thank you.
And we will be seeing you soon.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.